Nice woodwork. Swords.
There's the guns. Oh, I see them now.
Would the last person in close the door for me, please? Thank you. Well, let me talk about the two side rooms first. On your left is the pantry, and that's a place to store valuables. You notice silver and a cupboard in the corner. There's also china, glassware, additionally tea, spices, sugars, and wines. A close inventory and a close watch kept on all of that by Mrs. Scott, the housekeeper. She runs the house on a daily basis for Lord Dunmore. Over here on the right is the parlor, used by as an office by members of the governor's staff, including Captain Foy. And they issue various government documents out of that room, including marriage licenses. In the afternoons and evenings, you might socialize with your guests in there. Now, typically, we would be met by footmen here at the door. Two slaves wearing Lord Dunmore's livery, which is brown and blue. Those gentlemen can decide, based on your manners and your dress, whether or not you belong in the house. If you're a deliveryman, you're going to be sent around to the west gate. If you're Colonel Washington, you'll be ushered in to meet with the governor. Most people are not making it beyond this front hall, so you're meant to be impressed by what you see in this room. Are you all impressed? Yes. Very good. And I know what you're most impressed by. I know what your eyes are drawn to right away. The marble floor beneath our feet, right? Exactly. This is the first marble floor in Virginia when it's installed. The white marble is from England, the black is from Belgium. Very impressive to Virginians. Most Virginians at this time are living in the country on farms. They live in a story-and-a-half clapboard-sided dwelling with a packed dirt floor. 10 to 12 people living in that dwelling that would fit twice over in this room alone. This is something most Virginians have never seen. However, I know what you're really impressed by, all the weapons on the walls. We have an arms display. This is an old English custom dating back several hundred years known as arming the manor. First brought in by Governor Spotswood when he moves into the house. This is what happens when you let men decorate a room. These weapons are all functional, used in the French and Indian Wars as well as Lord Dunmore's war out west in the summer of 1774. There are 540 total. Now let me break that number down. 230 are muskets, commonly called brown vesses. These are a military weapon. A well-trained soldier can load and fire one of these 4 times in a minute. With the addition of a bayonet on the end, it's 2 weapons in one. And the bayonet is used to push your enemy off the field. Of these, 80 are original to the period. You can tell because they have darker stocks, and they're also typically out of your reach. 292 swords of 2 types. All silver are basket-hilted cavalry or dragoon sabers. Horse soldiers are carrying those. And then on the right here, you have infantry officer swords. Finally, we have 18 horse pistols surrounding the coat of arms of the king. And all this is meant to represent the power and authority of the British Empire and of the king himself. In his coat of arms, he has a lion representing England. Unicorn is Scotland with the crown in the center. Underneath in French, God am I right, his divine right to rule as king. Constant reminders of that British authority. We'll see those throughout the house. So all this is meant to impress, intimidate, and reassure you as loyal subjects of His Majesty King George III. Questions?
You did say photography.
Photography? Yes, everywhere you like with the stairwell. Now, these weapons are just part of a larger inventory kept at the magazine. The magazine on Market Square is where we keep weapons and powder for use by our militia. Here in Virginia, we have a militia made up of white males between the ages of 16 and 60. You're required to register and serve. During that time, you would muster and drill here in the city several times a year. You also are required by law to have your own firearm, powder, and shot in your home at all times. And so the militia is called up anytime there's trouble here in the colony. slave rebellion, Indian uprising, pirates. They would be equivalent to a National Guard or a police force. And so Lord Dunmore actually will have the powder removed from the magazine on the 21st of April of 1775. 15 half barrels are taken out of the magazine, and many of the locks are removed from the muskets. That's this part here. That essentially makes this a very expensive club. That will send the citizens here in the city into an uproar, causing an armed, angry mob to gather out here on the green. That mob will be talked out of storming the property by city leaders, including Peyton Randolph, who actually step into the house to petition the governor to ask him to return that powder, which he refuses, saying he is taking it for the safety of the citizens here. And I'll talk a little bit more about it above stairs. Any questions before we head above and look at the private family spaces? As we head above, watch your step. We'll stay to the left. So follow me, please.